everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Welcome newcomers. I hope you like what you see, and if so, be part of this journey by hitting that subscription button, which is free, and also the bell notification to be notified of my new uploads. Thank you everybody for all your support, all of yous, and for your beautiful comments, and everybody in the groups. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm very grateful and humbled to every single one of you, and sending so much hugs to all of you. We are going to create a mega flower, which is the biggest flower. I already have a table runner in my playlist with the mega flower, which is Maggie's flower. Now I've been asked again to create a table runner, a long table runner with those big flowers. Now when I did that table runner, I think it was still at the beginning of my videos, which I didn't know really that much of the codes, knew and know in Portuguese, but very hard to translate. It has a complete different meaning. So I am going to create, since this is a special request, and you know that you can request whatever you like, and I usually get them either through here or I get them through Instagram, which will be listed below, so you can follow me there, write to me through there on the message, or send me pictures if you're creating stuff out of my channel, so I can do a video with your name and the country you're from to have the world look at your creations also. So I'm going to create this. I hope you're going to enjoy me, and I hope you're going to like it. These are the colors I'm going to use. So brown, yellow, and tan. So this is a 4-ply, 100% cotton Portuguese thread. You can always find it, not the Portuguese thread, unless there's a Portuguese store near you that carries it, if you're in the States or the US. But you can find threads online or at Michael's or Hobby Lobby's or Walmart. I know that they have at Lydia, size 3, which is just a little bit thicker than this. It would be perfect to create on size 3 lentilha, 100% cotton. They have at Walmart, but you don't have too much of a choice. It's either cream or white. It would be perfect to create this mega flower. You can do it on Aunt Lydia number 10, but you're going to do a lot of rows because it's a very, very thin thread, so it becomes extremely small, the flower. But if you're creating for a small area, it would be perfect too. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so we're going to get started, people. This is a hook number 3. I like to use a small one to tuck in loose ends and do all the knots and the end projects, and of course a pair of scissors. Let's get started, everyone. I hope you're going to enjoy this tutorial. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is the magic circle. So you can just, turn it, leave it like that if you want, turn it on your finger, grab the thread from behind, secure, and do a slip stitch. We're going to do one more chain, come back in, and single. So this is equal 1 single, okay? We're going to do 10 singles in here. 2, 3, 4. If you find that it's too big, just pull on the string a bit, just to get it into position and to secure your magic circle. Okay, so do 10. You'd come, you'd pull on the string to close it. You'd come on the first one here and close it in with slip stitch. Okay, so we got this small little circle here. Now we're going to work only on back loops. So we're going to go up 1 chain again, and on the same space we're going to do a single. So that's 1 single on the space where we closed. We're going to go back into the same one and close it and do again another single. So it's going to be 2 singles per space using back loops only. 1 and 2. Next space, back loops only. 1 and 2. And what do I mean about back loops? I mean about this back loop here. And again, 1 because the front loops, we needed to create our petals, our flower, okay? And 1 and 2. So we're going to do this all the way around, and we're going to come here and close it the same way with slip stitch, 1 chain going up, and we're going to do again the single on the same space we're going to close in. So we've reached the end. As you can see, the end is right here. So we're going to go in, we're going to slip stitch, we're going to do 1 chain, and again go back into the same space we closed with a single. Now this time we're going to alternate. We're going to do 1 time 1 single, the next space 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together, okay? So next space we're going to grab back loops only. Now here we did 1, so now we're going to do 2 together on here. Next space 1 alone, next space 2 together, next space 1 alone, next space 2 together on the same space. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way around. So we've reached the end again, slip stitch, oops, go back 1 chain up on the same space. We're going to do 1. Now each space now is going to be only 1 at a time, okay? And I have this wrong already. I also want to remind you, always look ahead of the video before you create anything, because sometimes a boo-boo could be made or change of plans because of a certain stitch. Also, if the video is too fast for you, just up top, there's 3 little buttons on the right up top. Click on there, slow down the video to your liking. Okay, so we did that 1 on the same space. We're going to do that 1 single. Next space, single, next space. So now it's 1 per each space. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoops. Okay, so we reached the end. Make sure that I grab it properly here so it doesn't. And a slip stitch. Again, next you go up 1 chain into the same one, single, next space. Again, single. Now, on this one here we did the single in the same space we closed, next space a single alone, and now we're going to do a single again on the same space. So now we're going to have 2 alone and 2 together. Okay, so 2 together, 2 alone. So next space 1 alone, next space 1 alone, next space 2 together, next space 1 alone, next space 1 alone, and next space 2 together. We're going to do that all the way around. Okay, everyone, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to row 6. So one chain up again, and again, single on the same space. Back loop, single. So it's going to be singles in all the back loops, one per each. Now remembering that the thicker you use, the bigger this flower. So it's supposed to be a mega flower, but because my thread is a 4, it's not going to be as huge as I would like it to because it's only a 4. But if I had like a 6 ply, which there's different size of 6, but there's a 6 that's pretty much thicker than this 4, and I don't have presently. This would have been way bigger. Okay, so after this, we are going to, okay, so this center, you can continue to do the size you would like your centerpiece of the flower to be. So I'm just going to continue on a few more rows, one per each, until the desired size that I would like this center of the flower to be. And you can do the same thing. You could always advance the video up ahead to see how many rows I've done. Because this is a 4 ply, I need to do a few extra rows to make it a little bit bigger and to have more petals on there too. Okay, so I'm going to continue mine and then come back to you. Okay, so I'm going into row 9. Just a reminder because I almost forgot. If you find that it's starting to turn like a hat, let's say, it's because you're going to be missing some stitches. So row 9, I'm doing 2 together all the way through the end, back loops as usual. So I'm using 2 singles on the same loop all the way around, just to make sure that it stays flattened out, because you know the bigger you're getting, it's stretching out, so you need more stitches on there in order for it to, and if it becomes too wavily, so what are we going to do? We're going to leave 2 together, 1 alone, and this would be the best option, because then if putting too much together, 2 ain't good. So let's try this: 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together. And if it was getting too floppy still, we could have skipped 2 alone and 2 together. Okay, so where was I? Okay, 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together. Oops. No, I find it's too much. Okay, so we're going to skip 2 space. Sorry about that, people, but sometimes this is what you got to do when you're creating stuff. Okay, so 2 alone and 2 together. I could have easily added it and not let you see what I'm doing here, but I don't like to do that. This is the only way sometimes some of you will learn, is by certain things like this. So what does that teach you? It teaches you that 1 alone, 2 together. So 2 space alone and 2 together. So basically, what is it teaching you? So if it's turning into a hat, you know it's pulling. That means you have to add more stitches. But if you over add, it's going to frizz, it's going to pleat. So you got to give it space in between in order to be adding in, right? I mean, it would have been simple for me to add it and not show you these little things that can happen, but I prefer for you to see it, because most people that do these type of videos, they don't have time to be correcting or whatever or not. They're just going to go right through it and not show you. I prefer to do it this way because it's a way, it's a technique that you can learn. And it will be much easier for you guys to fix your mistakes when you're creating certain patterns, right? Then you know the reasons why such things happen. If people, you know, just add it and not show you, how are you supposed to learn? How are you supposed to know what's going on, right? Okay, so I'm going to do it that way. 2 alone, 2 together. So going into row 10, so I just close in, go up one chain on the same space, we do a single, so back loops only. It's one single per space again. So this is row 10. I believe I'm going to go to row 12, okay? And then I'm going to cut my thread from there. So on row 11, I'm going to do, again, the same thing. 2 together, 2 alone, okay? Just to let you know. And then row 12, 1 per space, okay? So this is row 10. So 1 per space. Row 11, we're going to have 2 together, 2 alone. And row 12, we're going to do 1 alone per space. And then you can cut your thread. And unless you want to go bigger, then you play around with the size you'd like. Then you know what you need to do if it starts curving up. So you flatten it out. You see it's pretty good. So you just play around with the size you'd like this way. Put 2 together and 2 alone, or 2 together, 3 alone, depending upon the size of thread you're using or yarn. So you know the technique already. If it curls up like a hat, then you know you have to add more stitch. And not together, you need to spread it out. So skip here and there, skipping 2 or 3, depending how your thread size is, you know. Because, you know, the thicker the thread, so the thicker the stitch also. So, okay, so continue, and I'll meet you at row 12 at the end. So row 10, 1 per space. Row 11, 2 together, 1 alone per space. And row 12, 1 alone all the way around. Okay, everyone, so I pretty much did mine. Now we're going to tuck a thread. So I want to show you what I created here. Now you can go bigger by either creating the middle piece bigger and the petals also bigger. Now they're all turned, but once they're stretched out, they will look nice. Even starch, the can spray, and you iron it, they become all nice and straight. Now they're all curled up because of all the stitch in it. But so I have this side that I did the same thing here like I did here. And half of it is multicolored, the green and the lighter shade. And the other half I did only the green. So sort of like the flower has different shades, and sometimes they have a side that has more green than the other. So I wanted to make it very natural looking. So now we're going to get into the middle part. Slip stitch knot. Remember we left one loop in the front, so we're going to work on these loops. We're going to go through it and do one single, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into the next loop, which you can cover already your leftover thread. So into the next loop, single, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is how we proceed with this middle piece. Into the next loop, we're going to do this all the way around, trying to hide my leftover thread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to go in here. I like to use the small one when I start if the project is a little bit tight to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Into the next loop. So nothing to it, people, just do that all the way around. It gets easier. It's just this first round that the thread is very tight. Especially me. I never learned my lesson. Okay, so we did the last one. This is the middle. So I have 2 rows of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back row where I have my loops there again. I think I have one more here. I'm just going to close it in like that. Okay, so we're going to go into the back loop. Right above it, so we don't have any angles. Grab it, pull your thread through it, and do your 6 chain again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then next loop, single, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then the next loop. So this whole row is the same thing. And even with the yellow, I have 2 rows. It's going to be the same thing. So after I do this row, I'm going to cut my thread, and I'm going into the next row and start. But this time I have chain 8 on this one, so it can be a little bit higher. Okay, so just continue your row with your 6 chain and just lock it in with a single on the next loop, so nothing to it. Loop 6. There's a single, and you can start seeing the effect. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we're going into the row right after. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're doing 7 on this one. On the next one we can do 8. Trying to hide my thread at the same time. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to continue to do that on the next row all the way around, and then do the same like we did with the brown. Go in the back and do 8 chain, and then you can cut your thread. So 2 rows of it. Okay. I'm going to use this multicolored, it's like terracotta if you want to call it. So I went and pressed my leaves, as you can see, so it looks completely different than when it's all curled up, obviously because of all the stitching. So we're going to do the slip stitch knot. And so you have 1, 2 on the 3rd row, and of course it depends if your thread is smaller, so obviously this is going to be smaller, so you would only skip 1 and go into the 2nd row here, okay, because mine stretches out pretty well. I'm going to try here on the 3rd, let me see, 3rd row. If I find that I need to skip only 1, then I will do that too. Okay, so I'm going to do chain 7. So I closed in with a single, so 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to skip this first one here, and I'm coming in, I'm doing singles all the way to the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I wanted to stay firm, so I'm going to go back into that first one we did with a single. I'm going to turn my pattern because I'm going to work on this side now of the flower. Trying to hide my little thread here. Okay, so I'm going to go in the first stitch here, single. My second stitch, I'm going to do a half double crochet. Next stitch, another half double crochet. Next stitch, I'm doing a double crochet, another double crochet, so that's 2. Next stitch, 3. Next one, 4. I'm at the top here, so I'm going to go right on the top, and I'm going to do 3 more in here. So 1, 2, and 3. If your stitch is extremely tight, then do 4. I'm going to come into the next one. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do half. So let's see, single, half, double, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to do one more. So 4 double crochet. So 4 on one side, 4 on the other. I'm going to do my half, and right here at the beginning I'm going to do my single. I'm going to skip a space and I'm going into the next space like that. Just okay, and then continue again doing your 7 chain. We're going to do that all the way around. So we skipped a space. I'm going to skip and not skip, sorry. So we skipped a space and we did a single on there. I'm going into the next space, single, 7 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to skip the first one here, and I'm going into the second one here with a single. Another single, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I want it to stay firm, so I'm going to come back in where I started and close it in here with a single. I'm going to turn my pattern. I'm going to go into my first stitch here with a single, just to get over on this side. And I'm going to do half, double crochet. So it was half double crochet, double crochet. So you're going to repeat the same thing. So there's 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go right on top, and I'm going to do 3 more here on top so we can have that little curve. For some of you, you can do 4 to have that curve so it doesn't pull too much, depending upon your thread. If you feel that it's pulling, then you do 4 double crochets. So we're going to do 4 on this side also. Three and 4. I'm going to do half double crochet, and the last one here, single. I'm going to skip a space and close it in with a single on the next one. Going to the next space with a single and do your 7 chains again. So you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around, just like that. Then it will get all straightened out once we press it, okay? Because now it's going to look all funny. So if you only have, if it doesn't cover up with your chains here, if it doesn't cover up this, then you need to only skip 1 and start working on the second row. I did the 3rd because I did enough chains to go higher. Okay, I'll meet you at the end. So my flower. Now I'm going to go into the next one, and right on the center of this paddle, any paddle for that matter, as long as it's on the center, because we need to create a paddle that's gonna, once we've done the paddle, we're gonna attach it here like we did with this one. Remember, we used to skip 1 to bring it down. Okay, so we're going to go right on the center here. It doesn't matter which paddle you grab. We're going to do the same thing. The only difference is we're going a little bit higher. Instead of 7 chain, we're doing 8 chain. So a single, trying to hide my thread, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Skip 1. So nothing changes, the same thing. We're going to proceed the same way. So we have 7. We're going to come and bring it down here just so it can stay locked in, turn our work. Now for some of you that have a very tight stitch, I forgot to mention, you could always do a 1 chain here to go right into the first one here to do your single. Doesn't make a difference if you didn't do it. So then your half, and then your double crochet, three, 4, 5, and into the corner. We're going to create 4 on the corner so we can largen it up a bit. So we have our 4. We're going to the next one. We'll create our 5 double crochets. This is 4 and 5, half, and on the last one, your single. We're going to skip a space. Actually, not even skip a space. We're going to skip because we need to go right into the center here. Okay, actually, no, we're going to skip a space. Sorry about that. We're getting all lost there for a second. Skip a space, lock it in the next one, and then go into the next one with a single again. So this is going to lie right on the middle of your first petals. Okay, so it's going to stay like that. And we're going to continue to do the same thing. Do 8 chain. Skip the first one, come into the second, and you're supposed to do 7 singles. Okay. Okay, so I just finished creating. So we're just going to do the recap. So for the people who have tight stitch, or if you feel more comfortable, you can do a chain once you're done your singles. You know, when you started, do a chain, come over, do a single, do half double crochet, 5 double crochets, 4 in the middle here, 5 coming down, half double crochet, and a single. So you turn your leaf, your petal, whatever you want to call it. We're going to skip a space, going to the next one, and that should be pretty much here on the center. Skip another space and do your 7. Your 8, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And continue. And proceed all the way around until the end. Finished all my round. Of course, it looks like a hot potato, you know, like all messed up. But like I said, once you iron it, you press it, and best result. Cornstarch spray would be the best. I don't have any, but I stretched pretty much, you know, as I went with the iron. So it came out pretty good. Of course, it's going to look like a mess because it's all twisted of doing all the stitches. But once you iron it, that's the result. So I'm going to do the last row. Now, with this, if you're making the mega big ones, then you would have went bigger on the back part. And then you could have continued on. And, you know, we started with 6 and then 7. Then you could have went to 8, 9, 10. you know, and go bigger on your flower. By the way, this is my design and my creation, just to let you know. And now I'm gonna do these little leaves back here. You could have done the same thing with the petals if you wanted in green. I don't want to. I think we have enough petals as it is. So I wanted to make like a little bush coming out of the flower, you know. So we're gonna go back here. Very simple, it's just chain like we did here at the beginning. And I'm going to grab pretty much anywhere. So I'm going to grab here, let's say almost in the center of the brown, and close it in with single. Now you can go the length you want on these bushes, you know, because it's only chain stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to do 15. So I am going to skip one and lock it in with a single on the next one. If you want it really bushy, then go right into the next space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And again, skip one space and into the next space. Now you see if it's high enough. If it's not high enough, you can go to the next row and do it from there. So if I find that it's not high enough and I want the green to stand out a little bit more, so it's not high enough for me either. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the next row and do the same amount. So it's going to have a nice slip stitch knot. It's going to have a nice length to it. Okay, so so we'll skip one row and go into the next. If you're okay with that row that right after, then fine. You know, it depends on your stitch. So you look at it and you see if you're happy with it. If not, you skip the row. That's why we do the extra rows on here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, you could either, like I said, go on the next one if you want a really bushy, or go into, skip one and go into the next one. It works both ways. There's not a right and wrong to this. You don't want to too space out because you want to make that little leaf bush, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And again, skip a space, go into the next one. So let's see. I know it's all messed up now, but once I iron it, it will come out just perfect. Now, if it's still too hidden, I'm going in my last row. So I think I will be using yes, oops, I will use my last row. I almost knocked down my camera. And that's pretty much how you get your patterns together. Okay, so I'm gonna use my last row here. See how that works out. Skip one into the next one. because once ironed, don't forget, then they're really going to stand. Okay, so it's perfect for me on my last row. But for you, it could be on your second, it could be on your first row. I think this is just fine for me on that row. So continue to do that. We're pretty much done with our tutorial on the flower. If you want to follow me for the table runner and you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, you hit that bell notification, and we're going to continue on to the next step with the table runner. So I will see you on the next tutorial. I hope you're going to enjoy this. And this flower is perfect for any pattern that you're using. Like if you want to make pillows, put a nice decor, or a nice blanket, nice decor. Pretty much for a lot of things, you know. So thank you so much, everybody, again, for all your support, all your love. I send you lots of hugs. Please take care of yourself, each other, and I will see you in the next tutorial to continuation of the table runner. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.